Alright guys, we are currently headed to the shop. I believe this is day 4 of whatever this is. I'm already behind on uploading, so that's the cool part of starting this before anybody knows who I am or what I'm doing. I'm not really letting anybody down yet, and I can kind of figure out a system while I figure all sorts of other things out. So anyway, headed to the shop. Just got a pair of windows today. Ideally, perfect world, somebody calls me up, hey, can you get this in last minute? And it's either like a four-door truck, another pair of windows, or a windshield, something like that. That'd be great while I'm there. Or if I could just add a car after one of the ones that I have going on during the weekend, preferably Sunday, honestly, because Saturday is the Tesla. And of the Teslas, I would say it is an easier one, being the Model Y. The doors are always the same. They're frameless. I file them. They're not super quick, but they don't take forever. They easily can take forever. I'll say this. My film, it seems to be like, now that it's gotten colder, I don't know if it's gotten more firmed up, similar to like vinyl wrap. Whenever you go to wrap something and it's super cold, it's super, super like almost brittle. Like it just gets firm, doesn't want to stretch. It'll just like tear on you instead of stretch. And as it gets warmer, it gets relaxed, it gets looser. So with my tint, my carbon tint, zero issues at all whatsoever. Like perfectly flat, but my standard dyed and my carbon, which the carbon's a hybrid, it's also a dyed, but it's also thicker. So the standard, a little bit of curling, not really any issues with the top, because I leave my top edge over the top edge of the window so that I can go and file most times. And so naturally, if there's tension, it's not wanting to stay on that edge, it's wanting to curl back. So with the standard dyed, not much of an issue, but with the ceramics, I assume because it's thicker, it just doesn't want to lay down. I'll have that top edge, like not just like a little hairline gap where it's not wanting to lay down and peeling. It's like really trying to come back on itself. And so there's been times where I easily spend literally like 20-30 minutes on a window just making sure that that top edge isn't peeling back all the way. So yeah, that Tesla one makes me for sure more nervous, but the fact that it's the Model Y, so it's a hatchback, that rear glass is just so much easier that it usually kind of, whatever extra time, if something goes wrong on the side windows, whatever extra time I add on there, I save it on the back window. And windshields, front windshields in general, just take forever. And then obviously if you have to redo it, something that takes forever, doing it twice, now it's really taking forever. So anyway, if I could, ideally add one after today, or add one after this appointment today, or add one after my appointment on Sunday, and then I'll just be in the shop all day Sunday. I'll stay late. I don't have an issue with that. This week is already okay, but if I add one or two more, then it goes from okay to good. Really, these like okay and good weeks, they're more than okay or good. Obviously, everybody has different standards, but like the business itself is super healthy in terms of like profitability, like consistency and stuff like that. It's just those debts that I have to pay. And so I'm just not seeing as much of the results as I'd like to see. Now, to be fair, like ideally, it would be great if these debts were put to work or put to use in a way that like I'm seeing my return on the investment for those debts. But these were one of my biggest ones, buying the minority interest in my business is obviously going to have a huge return on investment. Yeah, I just had to pay that. Obviously the AC, the mini split, so AC and heat, like that's gonna pay for itself. Obviously, like the fact that I'm gonna be able to work this summer and not like be struggling, because it really isn't. And I've had 2 summers where I basically worked half the summer with no AC. Even with that AC blowing, like just on fan mode and like the bay door open, it's just the inside with little to no airflow. It's just like no matter what, that's just not going to feel good. And on top of that, just think about it. Like your car, the car itself, sitting out in the sun is so hot, you know, it's metal and glass, and then you bring it into the shop and it's just radiating heat. So however hot your shop already was, and the little airflow that you have to cool it down already sucks. When you pull in this super hot thing, and then it's like, it just feels way hotter. And then if you're doing like a windshield, then you're feeling hotter in that thing. Anyway, it being uncomfortable is one thing. Like, I'm no stranger to that. I started tinting outside. That's how I started. But honestly, like, the real issue with that is, you know, anybody that's worked construction or just had to deal with the heat, like, you're just getting really irritated and stuff like that. So imagine you're tinting, and tinting already being an irritating and like a tedious thing, and then you know, the tint's drying up super quick, tacking up, nothing's wanting to work. It's just too hot. So yeah, that's really the big issue with tinting in the summer with no climate control, is it's just not sustainable to be able to try and keep your cool, literally, like keep your cool, like in terms of like keep your, you know, stay calm while tinting, because tinting's already hard, and then you're tinting, you know, doing something hard, and then it's, you know, probably twice as hard because your film's tacking up, you're sweaty, so you're all slippery, you know, you're sliding in, you know, whatever it is, it's just so much worse. So I'm sure, obviously, that, like, I already know, because both of those times, the first time is when I had my AC repaired, big difference, immediately was able to be in the shop more, immediately was able to get more cars in, get them out quicker, and get them out better. And then the second time was last year when I had to buy this AC unit, which was honestly really annoying, because it's like, it slowly went out. So at the beginning of summer, like, it was like working, and then it slowly wasn't. And so it was never like a, yeah, this doesn't work anymore. It was just like, okay, we're getting halfway point of the summer, and it's hitting 90s and 100s, and it's hitting 90s and 100s. Okay, clear as day, it's not working now. And then it's like, okay, let me try and figure out what I'm going to do. You know, I don't want to, so, you know, whatever little month that it took, a couple weeks, a month that it took to kind of figure out how I'm going to go about it, get somebody out there to take a look at it. That's a whole nother month of summer gone. And so literally by the time I got a new AC unit in, it was pretty much end of summer. Like, I'm not even joking, like the last month of heat coming in. And I was also leaving for like a week and a half for vacation. So then by the time I got back, I literally had like 3 weeks of like, oh, I'm using the AC. And realistically, they were like 80-degree days. So it's not even like I would have been struggling like crazy. I would say 80 degrees is probably a fair cutoff, where it's like after that, you're really struggling. But uncomfortable, but absolutely doable. So the other ones are doable, but they're just like, it's another level once you get past 80 degrees. So, but I mean, obviously I was much more comfortable. And now obviously it's great knowing that I spent that money. It's just a peace of mind thing. I spent that money. I have a warranty on parts and labor. So if I need anything for any reason for them to come out, it's taken care of. So yeah, anyway, yeah, the business is healthy. These are good weeks, not great, but right now I kind of consider them okay, because so much of the money is just going to paying debt. I'll be completely honest, I do not have to work very much in the shop to make a good amount of money. Now, when I say good amount of money, I mean for the shop to make 6 figures, I might have to work 20 to 30 hours, and for me to take home what an average person would take home, and like at my age, in my area, the average full-time job, I probably had to work half as much of that inside the shop, which is great. And that obviously is sustainable. What is not sustainable is having that average of 20 to 30 hours, but having 5 to 10 hour weeks and having 50 or 60. It's like, that's not sustainable. Like, that's just not a good idea for anybody, in my opinion. So yeah, that's all the talking I'll do right now, because I'm already pulling into the shop, and I actually forgot to charge. This. I forgot to charge the camera, so we're not gonna do too much talking. Obviously, today's pretty simple. Just knocking out these 2 windows. Already ate my breakfast. Haven't done my cardio, so gotta do my cardio, and then actually no lift today. So gotta do my cardio and then just rest today. And then tomorrow and Sunday is when I'll be working hard, but in the shop. I already did all the working hard at the gym. So if I actually want to recover these 2 days, I definitely need to, go home, rest, and actually get good sleep. Not that I haven't been getting good sleep these other days, but I've been like going to sleep later and waking up later. So still good sleep, a good amount of sleep, but I'm going to be waking up earlier tomorrow and the day after, so I need to get to sleep earlier. And I looked into what I was talking about in the previous video, where I said I always feel fresher, even though I finish chest. I have chest Sundays and Thursdays, and even though from Sunday to Thursday is 3 days, and then from Thursday to Sunday is 2 days, I always feel fresher on Sunday. I looked into it and I was right. You know, it made sense in my head, but I looked into it and apparently it's correct. While you're resting those 3 days, your body isn't, you know, obviously resting. You're not only working out the other muscles, but your body is working on recovering those other muscles. So I forgot what it was called, but you have a specific like amount that your body is able to. It was your nervous system, your central nervous system. You have a specific amount of like repairing that your central nervous system can do in a period of time. And so if you're consistently adding to that, adding to that, adding to that, adding to that, then it's never going to catch up, and actually you're doing more damage than you are good, because you're doing damage, and the idea is for it to repair it even stronger, do damage again, repair it even stronger. It's one step back, 2 steps forward. But if you do too much, now you're looking at 2 steps back, 2 steps forward. You're staying in the same place. And then if you do too much, like past that, then you're doing 3 steps back, 2 steps forward. So then now you're going backwards. So anyway, those 2 days that I'm completely off, my body is not literally working, and it has all of its energy, all of its resources to completely, what's it called, to completely repair any of the tissue damage that I did when I was working out. So I was correct, even though I felt silly when I was breaking it down. But I don't know. Hopefully some of that information helps somebody. If not, I'm getting better at saying it, which hopefully one day will help somebody when I got something really important to say. So anyway, gonna knock this out. I'll see you guys probably not even after, because I got nothing to do after. So yeah, I guess this is it. I might update you guys on the car, maybe if I upload them or something. But anyway, I'll either see you guys on the next one, or I'll see you guys here in a bit. It is now 12:30. So not much time has passed. And that would be because I had a no-show. Now, it was kind of perfect in the sense that I kind of get to show you guys you 100% should have deposits once you reach a certain level. You know, it was just 2 windows, only booked up like an hour or 2 of my schedule. Didn't really take away from anything. And, you know, still got $50 out of it. I think that's fair. Once an appointment goes past an hour, or sorry, once an appointment goes 3 hours or more, now I get $100. That's the system that I've kind of came up with. It just seems to be the most fair. I'm not gonna go like 50, 100, 150. Maybe later on I'll go 100. No, I think 50. I think 50 and 100 just makes sense. It's not like I have people not showing up all the time. But yeah, just goes to show, like, not only is this gonna happen, I mean, life is so weird, or it's almost predictable. And you could say that like it's like just a cynical way of thinking, or that the only reason it's predictable is like maybe some people would like argue that I manifest these things by thinking they're gonna happen. But it's like whenever you need something not to happen, whenever you need it to go right, that's when it'll go wrong. Whenever like you never have no shows, and it's like, okay, I'm having a slower week or whatever, and then it's just like no show. For example, when I was first hiring my helper on, and having them come in, I don't know, it might have been like I might have had 1, maybe 2 no shows in the past 2 entire years. And then the week that they come in or something like that, I had like 2 or 3 back to back to back. And it was like, what on earth is going on? And it's like, that's, you know, the week that I decided to, like, screw it, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to have somebody come in here and I'm going to pay, you know, a lot of money, which, if you guys don't know, anytime you own a business, for the most part, people are going to be the most expensive part of your business. You can have your rent, you can have all this stuff, but people, payroll will be the most expensive. So I'm like, screw it. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to have this person come in. I'm going to, you know, pay them for the time that they come in. I'm going to spend my time. I'm going to spend extra time on these jobs trying to teach somebody, you know, and just, I really want this to go right. No show. And it's just like worst timing possible. And it's just almost predictable in that sense. And for example, this person, I called them twice. straight to voicemail both times. Sometimes I'll send a message, but I just think at some point, I kind of how I mentioned in like previous clips, I do need to stand my ground a little bit, where it's just like, oh, like, yeah, if you can still make it close to the time, it'll be okay. Like, it really didn't, but it's just like, it's more of a principle thing at that point. It's just like, you didn't show up, you didn't answer the call. I don't like, I did everything I needed to do, and they did nothing that they were supposed to do. So it's just like I went above and beyond. They got reminders, they got confirmation messages, and then I go above and beyond, and then I call, still nothing. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna go and then I message, and it's just like, at that point, it's just like it is what it is. They lost their deposit. If they want to book again, I would probably charge them the whole thing, and that not including the deposit, that's gone. So. Yeah. Right now, I mean, I could easily kind of get myself, if I thought about things a certain way, to like kind of be frustrated about it. Like, man, this is terrible time, man. I really could, every dollar, matters and stuff like that. But you just kind of get used to it a little bit, and you get better at dealing with it, because, and you're gonna have to, if you're starting out, like, this stuff is going to happen. Ideally, not often at all. Like, I mean, again, even when I didn't take deposits, it still wasn't often at all. Because, like, okay, most people have common sense, but you'd also be surprised at how many do not. For example, I remember like one was just like so blatantly rude, and this guy was just not in the same room. He had no idea he was being rude, or like, the damage he's doing. Anyway, some guy calls, and it was when I first started out, maybe like the second year. I was renting that shop in some guy's backyard. Some guy calls, books an appointment, basically books up the whole day, like full this, full everything. And then the appointment comes up, and no show, and I start calling him, and it's like, hey, yeah, you booked an appointment? And it's like, oh, yeah. And it was some Latino guy. It's like, oh, yeah, buddy, I already got it done. And it's just like, you already got it done? And it's just like, yeah. And it's like, but you booked an appointment with us. And it's like, yeah, but I got it somewhere else. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, if you actually translate, or like kind of like break it down, it's like, dude, I don't know, maybe 20 years old at the time, working a ton and trying to build this business, not taking deposits so that I can try and build my business. And I'm even being more affordable so that, I can cater to more people and try and build myself up. And it's like, instead of any sort of support, any sort of like working with any sort of anything, it was just like, yeah, I don't care at all. You just lost your, and like, let's say, I don't remember exactly the situation, but like, let's say it was on my weekend, when it's just like, I worked the full week on a full-time job, and my weekend slots are, very limited. And so whatever. And it's just like, yeah, I don't care at all that I took that full day away from you. And not only that full day, like, of opportunity, but just also like the money. And yeah, I could care less. I just got it done. Appreciate it though. It's just like, so yeah. I would say you can rely on people not being, dumb and not being like that. But once you get to a certain point, obviously, there's no reason to take unnecessary risk for like extra money. And so it's like, don't take an unnecessary risk, get a deposit from that person, and book them in. And I can't tell you the amount of times I've had a client, like a good client, this is their third, fourth, fifth time booking. And it's like, oh, I know you're going to show up. I won't, no deposit, whatever, I'll get you in the schedule. And I'm telling you, it's predictable. And I almost do it like beforehand, because I'm telling you, it doesn't happen often, but so many times it'll be scenarios like this. But I almost do it beforehand. Like, all right, I'm not going to get a deposit, and I would almost bet money that this one time I don't get a deposit is the time that this good client, respectful client, doesn't show up, or cancels with like, with no, no skin off their back. And again, you could argue that I'm manifesting it, or I'm just a cynical way of thinking, and that's whatever. But so many times, those are the people that don't show up. And it's just like, when they're good clients, they should get more lenience. If they work with you, they don't just get passes, I would say, is kind of how I like to draw my line. Like, they definitely get more lenience than a brand new customer, but they don't just get like a free pass to do whatever they want. Now, I remember I had one guy who was like his third or fourth time coming to me, and I just kind of knew he wasn't the type of client that, he's not, my general type of reoccurring client is a good client. He's a good client because he kept choosing me, But for example, he would always get the cheapest option, which is not a problem at all. But I knew there wasn't going to be like upselling. I knew there wasn't going to be like cross selling, like upgrading him to like a different service or more windows or anything like that. And he was always showing up late. And so like every single time. And so like the fourth or fifth time, I get him scheduled for whatever it is that he wants to do, and pays the deposit. His appointment's at 9 a.m. Appointment comes up. I'm there waiting. It's maybe 15 minutes now. Past his appointment, so 9:15. I'm calling, going above and beyond. I even send a message, and then nothing. So then I start closing up the shop, and like literally like 9:30 rolls around, and I'm now like closing up the shop. I'm leaving because it was a weekend, and he was my only appointment for that day. Yeah, 9:30 rolls around. Then he gives me a call, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "Yeah, you had an appointment at 9 a.m." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah. I'll start heading that way." And I was just like, "I'm sorry, like you'll start heading this way." And he's like, "Yeah, I just woke up, gotta get dressed, and then I'll head that way." And I was like, "Well, your appointment's at 9. It's now this time, and you still got to do all this stuff and then head." He was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna work. If you want to book another appointment, you'll have to reschedule." So all right, bet. Like just thinking like it's some casual, nonchalant thing. Like it's just that's where like there has to be a line. It's like you can have relationships with these people, you cannot, but it's like a lot of times like your friends will be the type of people that they don't take it serious. They take it as some like chill, nonchalant, like, oh yeah, cool, next time then. It's just like you just, in other words, like stole money from me. Other people were wanting that day. And he was like, yeah, cool, all right, I'll hit you up then. So he sends me a text like, yeah, can I book in this? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, but I'll need another deposit. I wasn't even asking for the full payment, which I definitely should after a no-show like that. And he was like, I have to pay another deposit. And I was like, yeah, you paid a deposit for this appointment and you missed your appointment, so you lose your deposit. And I was like, if you want to book an appointment, you need a deposit. It's like that one's like gone. That's not even like a thing anymore. And he's like, oh, okay, all right then. And then and so then I send the deposit payment link for him to pay it. Nothing. Follow up, nothing. Something like that. And then like he hits me up a couple days after, like, hey, like can you look in your system to see what shade I got? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I go in, I look what shade he got on his other ones and on what windows, and I sent that stuff over to him, so I had information. But all he did was go to another shop. He just wanted the same setup, but he went to a different shop. And it's just like ridiculous, as if and when stuff like that happens, I am by no means in any way sort of like hurt or like salty that they went to a different place. I think it just kind of, for lack of better words, it's irritating, but it's like the lowest level of irritating, because the point of that sort of stuff is to kind of weed those people out, to filter those people out, so that you don't have to deal with people showing up late, messing up your schedule, or even not showing up at all. Again, at a certain point, you should be grateful for any opportunity you get. If they show up late, whatever, they are, giving you a chance whenever you're first starting, you're not established. Like, they really are giving you like a big chance. They're taking a risk going with you. So like, I'm okay with stuff like that. But once you get to a certain point, it just, there needs to be a line of professionalism and, obviously respect. Like, you're providing a service for them and you're doing it at a high level. So yeah, anyway, just all in all, overall, it's not going to be perfect. In fact, it's probably going to suck when it already sucks. It's going to start sucking a little bit more, and you just have to keep going. Like, literally, there's nothing else to it besides knowing that it's going to turn around. I remember my first year or two, like, because you haven't experienced the ups and downs, you haven't experienced and seen that you're going to live through whatever it is that comes up. Like, that's why I did not spend any bit of my money. I did not pay myself like at all for the first 2 years, is because I had no idea what an emergency looked like. I had no idea how I would handle it. I had no idea like the size it would be, how much I would have to have in reserve. I had no idea about any of this stuff. I mean, I didn't even have enough months under my belt to know and estimate or project, to be like, I project this is probably what's going to happen, and then accurately, predict what's going to happen. I didn't have any of that stuff. So I had no idea if like winter would be absolute zero. I had no idea if like that first summer that I started off was like actually like going to be my best one, and I got lucky. I had no idea. But then after I got those 2 years under my belt, obviously you pick up a pattern, for the most part, organically anyways. Summer's going to be like this. winter's going to be like this, but even when winter's like this, it doesn't, for me, it wasn't losing money. So I knew like, okay, worst case winter, I break even. So my bills are paid and I need to have money saved up for myself. But like the shop bills are paid. That was like worst case. I still make money in the winter, but that was worst case. Like if I had like a really bad month or really bad week, it'd be like the bills are paid. So it's like, okay, bills are paid. If that's as bad as it gets, for a lot of people, and this is a terrible way of thinking, I hate people that think this way, but this is just an example. It's like a comforting thing, but it shouldn't mean you're content with this. So for example, a lot of people, they live their lives with bills paid, paycheck to paycheck. And so it's just like, goes to show that, yeah, you should have high goals, but you also got to like zoom out and see you're fine. Don't freak out. I have these high goals. Don't be satisfied, but understand this is not a problem. Or like, I don't know, it depends. If you want to be super aggressive, you might have to think it's a problem in your head to know you have to like push 10 times harder in the winter to force it to be better, because you never want it. So I don't know, it just depends. But that's just my perspective on it. So just know with time, you'll get more comfortable. With time, you'll know how to deal with certain things. And all you have to do is just keep going. You don't know what you don't know. Literally, like it sounds stupid, but it's like you literally don't know what you don't know. So you have to like figure out what you don't know so that you can figure out how to handle the things that you didn't even know about. So it's like two phases. It's like I had no idea this would ever even be a worry, and now it's like I have no idea how to fix this thing that I had no idea was going to be a worry. And so there's no other way to do it besides do it, or the only way to get through it is to go through it. And like, there's no going around, there's no, it's just like the only way to get through it and make it to the next year is to go through it. So it's like, continue, put yourself in that, whatever you're scared of, continue to go through it, whatever you're uncomfortable with, continue to go through it. And no matter who you are or where you're at, like, you're always going to have times like these. Obviously this is like minor, but again, when you're first starting something like this that could seem minor, could seem very excessive or very big and like scary. And so just going to show slowish week, pretty slow week. Then I have a no-show and everything's fine, and I guess like at the very worst case, this person doesn't understand how deposits work, doesn't understand the purpose of them, or just whatever, is absolutely clueless and is like really upset about it, losing his money. It's just like, be apologetic, be understanding, but it's also just like nothing I can do. It's just policy. And I feel like as an owner, it's hard to kind of just be like, hey, like throw my hands up in the air, it's out of my control, because at the end of the day you do have control. So it kind of feels like a, shout out this person, just slamming the brakes. It kind of feels like it's like a cop-out, almost like you're avoiding the confrontation by just like saying you don't have power to it. But it's just like, if you want to like have that line, then you almost do kind of have to do that. It's just like, hey, my hands are up in the air. It's just like, well, you're the boss, you're the owner, you can still do it. It's just like, I can't. It's like, the company starts with me, and I have to like lead by example. Not that there's other people there, but it's like, if I can't like lead by example now, what's to say whenever I do hire full-time employees on, I'm going to be able to lead by example then? It's just like, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to flip a switch in my head. It's like, no. It's like the same thing. It's like, practice how you play, It's like, you're not going to practice, be nonchalant, not trying, and then all of a sudden game day hits and like you're able to flip a switch. Some people, whatever. Circumstances, some people are gifted and anything like that. But generally, like, you gotta be consistent. So yeah, it wouldn't be fair to my other clients that did respect the deposit and showed up, and it wouldn't be fair to the clients that did respect the deposit, try to show up late, and then still understood. It's like, hey, I know this happened, blah, 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 but it's like, I had my 15-minute window to show up. I still didn't make it within it. Completely understand. If you can still get me in today, super grateful. It's like, those are the kinds of clients that are great. And it's like, it would not be fair to any of those people to be like, okay, for you, I'll cut you a break. It's just like, no. Now, again, to be fair, you can have really good clients and be understanding and whatever, and that's up to you to when you're going to be. But for the most part, draw a line, stick to it. If they're upset with it, they can be upset with it. A lot of people are like terrified of like low reviews and stuff like that. But and you definitely you shouldn't let them like use that against you. Really, like if you do good work, people will see through the BS. Like for example, I don't have an insane amount of 5-star reviews. I have maybe like 80 or so, and then I maybe have like 2 or 3 lower ones. I think one is a 4-star where they said like good price, great work, or great work for a good price, but it took a little longer. And so anybody that reads that, in my opinion, that's a positive. It's just like that's exactly what I want. Somebody who's going to take their time. Somebody who's, and then if they're like spewing BS, then you can go in and respond to it. And that's another example where it's a positive. Clients get to see how you handle customer interactions. If they see that you're unfair and you're robbing people of their money and not respecting like deposits or whatever it is, then it's just like, yeah, then they're going to steer clear. But if they see like somebody saying all this stuff and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, you missed your appointment, there was no communication, we try to be understanding, but at the same time, we have to be fair to the rest of our clients. And again, they'd read that and that's a positive. Like, yeah, this guy is fair to all of his clients. He's not gonna cut people breaks. He's not gonna like whatever. He's consistent. I know what to expect whenever I go to this place. They're gonna be honest, reasonable, and it is what it is. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Plus, the amount of shops that have 5-star ratings, like hundreds of reviews, and do terrible work, they're all over. And then on the opposite end, the amount of shops that maybe don't have the best ratings um, are still able to get booked out. Now, if they're booked out and still do good work, I'm sure there are some that don't have the best ratings for whatever, but they might still do good work and have bad customer experience, whatever it is. But it doesn't define you. I wouldn't let it absolutely control how you're gonna handle something. But yeah, just do your best. Keep going. Some days, some weeks, some months are gonna be shitty, and there's a lot that you can do, but there's also a lot that you can't do. So, what's always gonna relieve some anxiety or some stress is to control what you can control, make progress in the things that you can control, so that you can lay your head down on the pillow at the end of the night and know that you did what you could. And just know it is going to turn around as long as you're doing the right things. So if you take action on those things that you can control to make progress, it will eventually turn around. So yeah. Anyway, that was a bit of a long one. Yeah, screw it. Nobody's watching these anyway. I'm just gonna leave all this in. All right, but that's it for today. Tomorrow will be busier. So I'll see you guys then.